Guys, welcome to JC Transformation Strategies. Welcome to another Bible reading and study session. I just want to say, anybody that celebrated any birthdays or special events, may God bless you guys and happy birthday. And I really hope that everybody had a relaxing week, okay? And I know that everybody has faced things and there's so many challenges that has happened throughout the week, but we just thank God for His grace. We thank God for His unending love. And no matter what we face, that we know all we got to do is just take a breather in and out and just be focused on yourself, because you are what matters compared to anything else. And I just hope that everybody, is staying in the faith, and no matter what is happening, and there's so much things that just keeps on adding and adding, but remember to take that time of rest, and make sure that you do rest properly, because you don't want to end up in a burnout situation. Okay, so as you know from last week, we actually were discussing about 7 types of rest. And as I told you guys that I literally needed a rest. So for me, it was something that was exceptionally important and I had to do it. And as I said to you guys, that if you don't rest, your body will literally force you to rest. And it came to a time that I had to just take the step of faith and just rest. Because I haven't been resting since my surgery, and I've noticed that because of not resting since that time and everything just happened so much, it actually did affect. So I had to really sit back, relax, take that rest, and get into a deeper meaning of life. Okay, right. So guys, last week we discussed about the true rest. Okay, now today we're gonna move on to the next type of rest. So we're gonna be looking at sensory rest. Okay, so before we look at sensory rest, we need to actually. Okay, so today's verse we're going to be reading from is John chapter 14, verses 27. Now, this verse, you know that before Jesus was actually ascended to heaven, this was his final word for us. So it's something that is so important that we need to remember. And it says that peace is what I leave with you. It is not my own peace that I give you. I do not give it as the world does. Do not be worried and upset. Do not be afraid. Peace is what I leave with you. It is my own peace that I give to you. I do not give it as the world does. Do not be worried and do not be afraid. Okay, you heard me say to you, I'm leaving, but I will come back to you. Okay, so Jesus said he was going to come back to us. Now, when we look at that verse, it basically means peace. Jesus, in fact, said, peace be with you. He knows that there's going to be so much happening. He knows the rulers of the darkness is going to be starting. He knew you're going to face tribulations. He knew you're going to be facing setback, rejection, disappointments, sickness from hell. You're going to be facing divorce. He knew your kids are going to leave you astray. He knew that families are going to reject you. There's going to be no support. Your friends are going to be few. He knew all of that. That is why he said that I'm giving you the peace, because he already knew before all of this happens. So that is why it says, do not be of fear, because God knew everything. So you need to trust in him. You need to wait on him and just say that, you know what, Lord, I know I'm facing this, but I still trust you. I still know that in spite of everything, I know you're going to help me. I know you're going to be with me. And I know that your peace is going to help this chaos in my heart, or help this chaos in my mind with all of these racing thoughts and things that are just out of control. So you need to understand that there is only God's peace that can actually help you in this situation. Okay, right. So guys, we're going to be talking about the rest of the rest. Okay, so remember we discussed 2 rest. Now we're going to be looking at the 3rd type of rest. Okay, so as we're going to dive into the 3rd type of rest, as we look into it. Okay guys, alright, so please do mind the noise. Unfortunately, it's out of my control. It's really out of my control, with neighbors' dogs barking and stuff, right? But we're not going to let the enemy distract us in any way. So we're going to be looking at sensory rest, okay? Now, sensory is more dealing with your phones, your screen. That's basically what it means to be in the sensory rest. Now, we're looking at the constant notifications, okay? that constant noise. You can see even like it was out of my control or what's happening in the background. But we still need to continue with what we need to do. Okay, we don't want any negative forces to stop us. So the constant notifications, the constant noise can be extremely exhausting. Okay, even like constant noise at work. Okay, and I mean like it's just constant and constant, just constant emails that literally come through. Now it basically causes like an overload to your brain, and your brain literally needs that time just to rest. It cannot be like constantly overloaded by so many factors. So what happens is that when you are over the limits, you are watching your screen, you are watching like YouTube shots, or you're watching TikToks, or you're watching all these things, whatever is happening on your phone, social media basically, it gets exhausting. It really gets exhausting, and even your phone gets exhausted because it's an overload of information on your phone. So what happens is that it gets so overloaded to you that your nervous system literally gets close to a burnout, and your nervous system needs a reset. Okay, it needs a reset. It's like, when you click that reset button just to reset everything, because it's just the sensory overload has happened so much to you. You've always been on your phone, you've always replied to text, you've always replied to emails, you literally reply to everything, and that has actually affected you. Okay, guys, I'm talking from a place of experience because my phone used to be like that. And my phone literally on WhatsApp is this constant text messages, especially groups. So I've always been in every single group, like crime group, ward groups, community groups. And it's just been so much of an overload that I don't actually have the time to rest. And basically, guys, that I needed the time. So I had to literally archive all those groups, okay, and mute those conversations. And I made sure, like, thinking to even like opt out of these groups because it's affecting. Because every time when you open your phone, there's like 1,000 messages of what's going on. And I had spoken to my counselor as well, and he also recommended that, maybe just get out of those groups because you don't need to know what's happening in so and so areas. So all of that, like, it affects you, and it also like creates a bit of fear, especially when you watch a lot of these crime groups, like what's happening in an area that's far away from you. And then it's good to be informed, but you don't want to be so informed that it leads to fear. So what happens is that the fear just builds up to you. It builds up, it creates, and then eventually what happens to you is that you start to like feel burnout. You just think like, what is happening right now? It's like a static shock. And that's because of all these notifications of what's happening. Now remember, in the olden days, we wasn't that much notified of what's happening. You will have to read a weekly newspaper to know like this is what's happening, or to even find out what's our fortune teller and all those things. We didn't actually have this every single day. So every single day there's something, just it's a slap to your face, literally. It's just pushed onto you that this is what's happening, let's say in Joburg, this is what's happening in Cape Town, this is what's happening in Richards Bay. And everything is said within one shot. You can actually know what's happening within 20 countries in a minute, or like within 5 minutes. So that's what happens. And also like the social media, like TikTok and all these things, literally post things. And that also becomes overload because you literally scroll on your phone each time. And don't forget that the dopamine rush, okay? Because TikTok was organized in order to get you catched and hooked on. So like you see one video that's good, you see a next video that's bad, you see a next video of suicide, then something catchy, something to move you, something make you to dance. There's just so much of things that's happening, okay? And your brain literally can't handle this. So what happens is that when you go through all of these things, right, even the shots, it basically stirs up your mind in a negative way because your brain goes through several emotions at the same time. And that's actually the worst thing because we are not designated to handle so many emotions like happy, sad, frustrated, angry. Then when you see another video of dogs that's literally in slavery or about to be euthanized, and then you get upset about it, and then you see another video and it's happy, and then you're like happy about it. All of that is like to stir up emotions. It's almost like a bipolar person that literally has so many emotions. So what does it do to you now? Imagine now you're not a bipolar person, you're completely normal. It actually causes trauma to you. I will get the correct term from a counselor about what type of trauma it is. So that was literally like a wake-up call for me. So I literally said, you know what, I'm stopping all of this. Guys, it wasn't easy for me to actually stop it, but I had to do what I had to do for my mindset, for my body, because I felt like trapped. And eventually what I did is I stopped TikTok and everything, and I had to move on from it. Right. So it wasn't easy. It's never easy to stop a social media when you're so much into social media. But I had to do it for the sake of my mind, because I didn't want to risk my emotions and becoming more emotional. And also, like, I started seeing that it's affecting everyone around me. So I was like, no, I didn't want to do it. And also, you get so caught up with the pressure or what's happening with society that you want to be like them. Okay, you like compare and all of that. So it's not good. So just click that reset button in your brain and try not to be controlled by social media and all the sensory. So if you need, just take a break, as I also did as well. Maybe take a week, maybe take 2 weeks, even a month, and you'll see actually that you start feeling calm. Also, guys, what you can do is that you can play on the YouTube. You can just type for like calming music and just play that in your background and just be one with yourself now, okay? And just put everything aside and just connect. Sometimes you might doze off to sleep during that moment. It's because your body needed a rest. Sometimes you don't know your body needed rest. You'll be like, wow, I actually did sleep. I never slept for so long, and finally I've been sleeping. Remember, I told you like the previous lesson, guys, I was saying that some people haven't been sleeping, like they only slept when they were in school, and now they're over 40. So it's just like that. You need to catch up on some sleep, but you need to set that reset button. You need to press that reset button and go back to how like things were. Okay, the happy state. If it wasn't happy state ever for you, then it's time for you to be in a happy state. So make sure your sensory rest does take place. Then guys, basically how you can do that is silence notifications, take silence breaks, spend time in a quiet, dimly lit place, like how my place is literally. But like it cannot be like brightness, because you don't want too bright as well. It needs to be quite dim so it can actually put you off to sleep as well. The place needs to be quiet, so you need to make sure that you tell people around you that I'm taking this time off for myself. I need to do it, okay? Because I know it's easy, maybe at work you can tell them, but now when you're at home, it's a bit different because you have so many commitments. But you have to. If you have to lock the doors or whatever, just to get that space, you need to. Reduce background noise, which is very difficult. As we saw in the beginning of the video, I couldn't reduce the background noise. It was out of my control. But I still kept talking. I still kept, I didn't want it to actually control me and to be upset over silly things. So I was like, you know what, I'm still gonna like talk. I'm just gonna say what I need to say. I'm not gonna let any negative force stop that. So yeah, if you can't reduce the background noise, you can put the music a bit higher, or you can use the headphones or earphones and just be in the moment, okay? But definitely if you put the music higher on your laptop, you can actually cancel all the other types of noises. You definitely can. Okay, now guys, we're going to be looking at creative rest, which is our 4 points. Now, start being creative. Remember I told you we all are creators, okay? We all have some innovative idea. We can all initiate something. But it's just that we've been sleeping, we've been dozing off, we've been so stuck up, we've been unmotivated. We never really see our creative side. So it's important that we start also pressing that reset button to creative rest, and we start looking at what are we good at. Okay, there is something that everybody's good at. So it's all about refueling your imagination by experiencing beauty, inspiration, or wonder. Okay, now the only way you're going to find out that is you need to spend time with yourself. You need to see like what excites you. When you read magazines, what really excites you? When you read and do those crossword puzzles, or when you read a book, there has to be something that excites you. Okay, there's definitely something when you spend time with yourself that something really sparks you. Even if you like watching, let's say on YouTube, like recipes, maybe you like been so interested in like cooking and you don't actually know that, but it's just something that ignites you and you feel so indulged when you watch these things. Because I know, like for me as well, like when a certain recipes catches my attention, I really want to experiment it, but sometimes I need the patience. I know that. So I know like my weak point is patience at times, but I'm working on that. Okay, I'm just working like to get my sensory rest there, and then I know my creative will spark with the cooking. Okay, but I'm really good at like baking and stuff like that, like making pancakes and like Indian dishes like soji and all of that, and I thank God for that. So remember guys, when you start cooking and stuff, you start being independent. Okay, so when you become independent, your body feels more happy. Okay, so that is what I always tell you, do your exercises and make sure that you're fit, because once you're independent, there's something stirs up within you that you can handle it, and you won't give anybody the control over you because you can do it. So it's very important that you get that into place. And what you can do is maybe take a walk. All right, so if you really need to be out of the house, take a walk outside, see nature, and see what stirs up your creativity, because sometimes you can start thinking straight and you won't have that fogged mind. You can also visit like art gallery and stuff like that, or the museums and stuff like that. It also stirs up your creativity. Listen to music, read something inspiring. Okay, read books that's motivational and stuff like that. There is one of the life-changing books that I will be explaining once we done with our sessions of how that book actually changed my life. It's one of a motivational book. It's absolutely inspiring, but it's more like a guiding book, I would say, because it guides you. It guides your decisions. It guides whatever you say and you do and you think. And it's all about not letting people take control of you. Okay, but we'll dive into that at a later stage. Okay, so also change your surroundings, like spark new ideas. Like for example, you can change your surrounding, like your background at home and stuff like that, make everything like how you like it to be. So if that's your favorite color and stuff like that, make it like that. Okay, change your bedroom a bit, move the furniture a bit, get some sunlight. If you've always been in a dark space, like really dark, you need to have some brightness, but don't have it so bright that it affects you as well. Just have it like slightly dim, but just to get that sunlight, because it's important also for you to get natural sunlight. It helps your brain. So yeah guys, that's what we looked at today. We looked at the sensory rest and we looked at creative rest, and I really appeal to everybody that if you haven't really taken the rest, I think it's actually time that you do so. So remember, wrap up. Sensory is where the constant notifications from your phone, from your emails, from whatever devices that you use has been so much that your brain literally is close to a burnout or is in a burnout, and you can feel it's draining you. So whenever something is draining you, you have to take action. All right, and then creative rest is basically where you just sit back, you start to be creative by refueling your imagination. So you only can do that stepping out in nature, reading a book, and getting to know yourself by spending time with you. So this is basically it for today, guys. This is all the 2 rest. I don't want to like overload you guys with so many rest, because there's actually 7 rest. So that's why I said, no, let me do the first 2 and then the next 2, and then we'll discuss the next 2, and then the following week we'll do the last one. Okay, so guys, I hope that you've been inspired with the message. If you haven't watched last week's message, please do, so that you can keep up with the pace and know what's happening. I also just want to say to those who have already commented last week and the previous week, thank you so much. I will be reading those comments soon. Okay, and it's just that I had to take some rest. Okay, so I haven't really read anything. Okay, I haven't really read any comments or anything as yet, but I will be doing so. But I appreciate all the support, all the love, all the care, and it means so much to me, guys. And it's such a blessing to inspire you all. And whatever knowledge that I've known or whatever counseling that I've been through, I'm sharing with you guys also, so that you also heal in whatever aspects in your life. And I pray that you will heal, and also that you will get fit and get back to the you that you need to be. But remember, guys, even for this week, spend time with yourself so that you can discover who you really are. You need to set that time. You need to actually have that quiet time, even just for an hour, just to figure out who you are and what's your purpose in this world. And whatever your needs are, I pray all those needs will be met, okay? Whether if it's job, marriage, kids, or whatever it is, may everything be met in the mighty name of Jesus. Have a blessed week and stay safe, guys. And remember that you can do it. Whatever you put your mind to do it, you can do it. And the only person that's stopping you to do it is you. So stay focused. Stay tuned to JC.